Welcome to the 1982 World Cup in Spain. In the opening match in Valencia, the hosts faced New Zealand and suffered an early setback when Mackay put the underdogs from Oceania in the lead after 28 minutes. Real Madrid striker Juanito, who was simply unstoppable today, provided the equalizer. After a 1-2 with Satrústegui, he took on the opposing defense single-handedly and held his nerve in front of goal. A crucial equalizer scored just before halftime. With the support of their fans behind them, the Spaniards were in complete control throughout the match and established a decisive lead in the second half. Their second goal, however, involved a bit of luck as Joaquin's shot took a deflection. Juanito was perfectly positioned. And the third goal for La Furia Roja also went to Juanito, who, after a pass from Joaquin, had a clear path to goal and effortlessly slotted it home to seal the 3-1 final score. In the second match of Group 1, Poland struggled for a long time against a highly defensive Chilean side. The team, led by superstar Bonik, searched in vain for an opening for over 80 minutes. However, they did not lose patience and were finally rewarded in the 85th minute when Smolarek scored the celebrated winning goal. Spain awaits next. Defending champions Argentina kicked off their tournament in Group 2 with a match against Kuwait, leaving no doubt as to who would emerge victorious. Ramon Diaz put his team in the lead in the 9th minute. All eyes in Barcelona's Camp Nou stadium were fixed on a 21-year-old wearing the number 10, making his debut on the World Cup stage and set to join FC Barcelona after the tournament. Diego Armando Maradona did not disappoint, scoring the second goal for his team after 15 minutes. For Argentina, it was a comfortable opening match, one in which they did not have to unnecessarily expend their energy. Consequently, not much happened for a long time, until Ardiles scored the final goal following an assist from Maradona. The Soviet Union entered the match against Cameroon as the favorite. However, they struggled significantly and even fell behind in the first half, conceding a penalty kick following a foul on star striker Roger Milla. Goalkeeper Desaev was initially able to parry Aoudu's shot, but the midfielder got a second chance and converted the rebound. For a long time, the Eastern Europeans appeared at a loss, and it took until the closing stages before they finally secured a, ultimately deserved, equalizer. Substitute Oganesian sealed the 1-1 final score. Brazil entered their Group 3 opener against Northern Ireland as one of the top favorites for the World Cup title. However, the British side started boldly and took an early lead through the 17-year-old Manchester United striker Norman Whiteside. Right-winger Dirceu of Atletico Madrid was one of the standout players for the Selección and left his opponents struggling to keep up. His cross found center forward Serginho, whose spectacular bicycle kick was too much for goalkeeper Pat Jennings to stop. We can enjoy the goal all over again in the replay. In the second half, Brazil secured a decisive victory. After a foul on Serginho, a penalty was awarded. Flamengo's number 10, Zico, scored to take the lead. Following a corner kick, the Northern Irish failed to clear their lines decisively, and another cross from Dirceu put Ader in a shooting position. The powerful left footer unleashed an immediate shot but was denied by Jennings. However, to the Arsenal goalkeeper's misfortune, the ball was deflected into his own net by his teammate, Chris Nicol. The South Americans' sheer class was simply too much on this evening for the bravely battling British side. Substitute Cerezo of Atletico Mineiro set up Serginho's second goal of the evening. The final score was Brazil 4, Northern Ireland 1. In the second match of Group 3, Austria pushed the French team, led by superstar Platini, to the absolute limit, taking a 1-0 lead in the match in Malaga following a counterattack by striker Walter Schachner. The French response came after 70 minutes. Following a cross from Platini, it was striker Dominique Rocheteau who scored to level the match at 1-1. Against Northern Ireland on match day 2, nothing short of a victory will suffice for Les Bleus. West Germany will need to step up their game as the tournament progresses. However, in the victory against El Salvador, the goal by Hamburg striker Horst Hrubesch was enough to secure an opening win in Group 4. Yugoslavia and Peru contested the second match of Group 4. The Eastern Europeans took the lead through a goal by their striker Zlatko Vujovic of Hajduk Split. Peru played a good game and was rewarded for its efforts. Driven by midfielder Leguia, they put the Yugoslavs under pressure, and were finally rewarded with the equalizer from Julio Cesar Uribe shortly after the start of the second half. Just when it looked as though the opener would end in a draw, super sub Vahid Halilhodžić struck. The man from the French club Nantes secured a 2-1 victory for his team in the very last minute. A spirited Algerian side rattled Italy in the opening match of Group E, taking a 1-0 lead through midfielder Bellini. However, the two-time world champion struck back in the second half on this sunny afternoon in Vigo. Bruno Conti picked out Paolo Rossi with his cross, and the Juventus striker headed the ball into the net to make it 1-1. And for the decisive goal as well, it was Roma winger Conti who provided the assist. This time, it was the second Italian center forward, Francesco Graziani, who secured the winning goal for the Squadra Azzurra. Group 5 promises to be extremely exciting, as the second match between Belgium and Czechoslovakia was also very evenly matched. Right winger Janeka outplayed his opponents and scored a spectacular opening goal early in the game, leaving Belgium's outstanding goalkeeper Jean-Marie Pfaff with absolutely no chance. Jan Schuleman scored the equalizer in the second half. Finally, we turn our attention to the two opening matches of Group 6. England, aiming to reclaim the World Cup title for the first time since 1966, secured a comfortable victory against Honduras. Manchester United midfielder Steve Coppell provided the early lead. The own goal by defender Costley sealed the 2-0 final score. Scotland endured a disappointing first half in Oviedo in their match against Hungary. Following a beautifully executed attack down the right flank, the Eastern Europeans took a 1-0 lead. Immediately afterward, a lapse by defender Evans, who had recently won the European Cup with Aston Villa, led to the second goal. The Hungarians didn't let this gift slip away. The Scots have several strong individual players who play for top clubs like Liverpool, and they fought their way back into the game in the second half. However, Alan Brazil's goal was all they could manage. As a result, they are already under pressure ahead of their second match against Honduras. Here's another look at the results, standings, and upcoming matches for all 6 groups. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Feel free to leave a comment telling us what was your highlight of the day. We'll see you again next week with the goals from the second match day of the group stage of the 1982 World Cup, played in PES 2008 on the PlayStation 2. Thank you for watching.